Hey,
Oh,
and welcome back to another episode of Cats Cup Podcast. You're with your hosts, Christian, Justin, and Mean Bean Cody Green. We have a very special guest here tonight with us. We have the most electrifying, notable media personnel in all of the world, Dylan Ballard.
Thank you
How we doing
guys.
tonight?
Thank you guys for having me on. I'm not any of those things you just mentioned, but I am here, and they for some weird reason do let me in the building at Rupp Arena. But I am excited to be here.
Awesome. We're glad you're on here with us tonight.
Yes.
We got a good show planned for all the listeners out there, but we wanna start off a little different. We're gonna start out with hot takes, and I know Cody, he's got one brewing over there.
What's our hot takes for? Or just any
Just
kind of
anything.
random, any kind of hot take?
Any kind of hot take.
What's a good hot take that I could do? It's a bunch of different ones I could do.
I got one. I got you. You ready for this?
Go ahead. You go ahead. Yeah, you got it.
Tomatoes are only good for making ketchup and barbecue sauce.
Agreed.
That's it.
Agreed.
I could agree with that.
100%.
Yeah, that I don't, Christian. I'm gonna have to throw a flag on that. That's not very hot take. I think that's a very.
Bro,
I think when you got
Well, okay.
people agreeing with it,
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
That's true.
no,
That's
okay.
true.
So I've been around a lot of people who just like straight up eat tomatoes, like just eat them like an apple. So that's always just been a hot take for me. Guess I got to come up with a better one. Oh, Cody, spotlighting. Can't be doing that. It's illegal.
Why it's spotlight? What? Okay, I'm just gonna leave it alone. We're just gonna be a little dark. It's all right.
All right, Justin, what you got?
Pumpkin pie is not a good dessert for Thanksgiving.
Agreed.
No pumpkin pie.
Agreed.
Oh, so that's not a hot take?
No hot takes. All right.
that is ultra hot take. I think a piece of pumpkin pie with a little Cool Whip whipped cream on it is just perfect to go with that turkey that I eat once a year.
So my hot take was better than Christian's hot take. So just FYI for everybody.
Okay.
My hot take, I guess, is not really a hot take. It's just more of an opinion. But I think anything chocolate is just terrible. And I'm not a picky eater. I eat all the sushi, all the raw fish, everything. Any kind of chocolate is just. I think it tastes so bitter that I'm good without it.
I may cry. I might have to.
Bro, awful start to the pod. No, I'm kidding. I can't live without chocolate. I'm like that old lady off SpongeBob. Did you say chocolate?
Speaking of things you can't live without, and then I'll let you guys get back on your track. Just so everybody knows, I am a avid L8 drinker. I can't live without it. Like I've changed over my diet lately, and I'm gluten free.
Right.
I'm gluten free. I'm sugar free. I don't eat pork. Like I eat super healthy. And then I just told my doctor though, I was like, I'm not cutting out L8. I'm sorry. I'll cut out everything else. I just not that.
Hey, it's an elite drink. You can't go wrong with a good L8.
Now, is that a zero sugar L8?
Yeah,
That's
I can't have sugar of any kind.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I'm zero
Gotcha.
sugar. You should try it. It actually tastes better. And I'm not just saying that because that's all I can have. But when I could have sugar, I actually like L8 Zero better. It's almost like it's the perfect like mixture between the ginger and sweetness. Like it's not. I just think the normal has too much in it.
See, like I drink too much sweet tea to not have sugar, so I have way too much sweet tea.
I drink
Like
clean energy drinks. I can't go without them.
I will try that though. Actually, I definitely will try that. My hot take, I'm gonna say that pancakes are better than waffles.
What? You just said that to make me mad, bro.
No, I think I have a point where pancakes are better than waffles. You can't spread the butter evenly on the waffle. Like it's stuck in little crevices.
Pockets,
it don't matter.
There's syrup pockets.
The pancakes absorb the syrup so much better.
Dylan, what do you guys say about this?
I like them both. I think if you're gonna jazz something up and be bougie about it, then I think the pancake is more fitted for that. But if you're just talking about the waffle, is better than the pancake. Does that
Let's
make
go.
sense? But if I'm gonna go somewhere and get I would rather if I'm like a strawberry cheesecake pancake, like if you're going for one of those bougie ones,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? That's gonna be better than me throwing toppings on a waffle. But if we're just going straight up, so that's my thing. Oh, you guys got commenters on here in the comments. That's slick. I like that.
Yeah, we got it. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
I'm afraid it would kick me out, or I would go share it. I'll share it later.
No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, we got them on there. We got a few comments on there.
We have a great following. Great people. Fantastic people. They tell me. Fantastic. They tell me. Fantastic. one of the greatest audiences in the entire world.
All right.
As they tell me.
But getting back to what everybody's here probably to listen to is Kentucky sports. Yesterday we had a basketball game where we played Western Kentucky. So boys, what did we think on this game?
I didn't get to watch it, so I have no comment on any of it. I was busy doing something else.
What's more important than the Cats, Cody?
Hey, I was learning how to skin a deer, take it apart, and everything like that. So now your boy knows how to do all that.
Okay.
Just a different thing that I wanted to know how to do. So I was keeping up with the game, though. I just didn't watch it. I knew that we didn't play as good as we could have. That's all I know.
Okay.
But that's it. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, Justin, did you get to watch it?
I did. I did get to watch it. I think, I'm glad we pulled it out. We won. I do think that, a couple takes that I've got on it is, really because there were so many fouls called during the game. I think both teams combined for 71 free throws. It was just really hard for either side to get a consistent offensive flow when you're going to the line that much. But, it was probably the worst or one of the worst 3-point, shooting games that we've had this season. I don't think that's going to consistently happen, of course, with this team. So, we were just off on the outside. I think we missed 13 free throws. That combination there really affected us. But in spite of all of that, we still won. I still think that I've got a lot of confidence in this team. Not going to base a whole lot of judgment on one game. I'm just so happy about this basketball team this year, regardless of how the Western Kentucky game went. We still won, by almost 20 points. Overall, we're still doing good. It's just one of those things where you just learn and you just go on, So, but the free throws, the 3-point shooting is really the main things that stood out. But we are definitely an underrated defensive team too. I think the most any team scored on us so far is 72. Most games teams are scoring somewhere between 67 and 72 points thus far. So, we're underrated defensively, but, we're just we're a deep team. I think that's the big kicker with us. We're so deep that when benches are coming in, that's where a lot of times we're getting our bigger leads on opposing teams is because when the bench comes in. So those are just some of the takes that I had from the game. But I'm not going to make some bad judgment call of, we don't deserve top 5 or top 10 or something because of how that game went. That would be kind of crazy. Yeah. But, overall, I'm still happy with the win.
Talking about rankings, Gonzaga lost today.
Yeah.
So you've had UConn lose twice to unranked teams. You've had Gonzaga lose. You've had Houston lost. Iowa State lost. Houston, they lost, but they lost to Alabama, so that shouldn't hurt them that bad. And Auburn, they won. So
when it comes
Auburn,
to the game yesterday, I was there. It was cool. It was fun to be there. But I don't have any overwhelming, glaring bad takes except for I do think that, they played us closer. I do think Western is a little bit higher caliber than these other teams we've been playing as far as the mid-majors. I think Western's got a solid program for mid-majors. But I will say this. I do think that Western gave people a blueprint of how you need to guard us. I didn't say how you need to shut us down, or I don't have like this, it's over. I do think that they gave us a blueprint that you need to be ultra physical with this team if you want to slow them down. Well, within that, when you start to do that, you can't control the pace as much. You just kind of have to play to our pace. And I think that this team, you saw Duke get physical with us, but then you saw us respond. So I think this team's going to be fine. I think they played well. I mean, guys, even, I'm not a bettor, but I always look at Vegas to see how close we are, because there's a reason those buildings are so tall out there in Vegas. And the spread was the spread was, I think it was 22 at tip, and we won by 19. So there's really no need to panic. It's right where we should have been. ESPN analytics projector had us winning by 21. So, I mean, guys, we're literally right where we needed to be when we didn't shoot well, and we did get out hustled a little bit. So the physicality and hustle is something we have to match every night, because as we start playing teams and as teams get more tape on us, that's going to be the way they try to play us. But to Justin's point, this team is a lot better defensively than we think. And I think them not being like big names makes people just kind of make assumptions. I was talking to somebody today, and they were like, I don't know if we have a big man that can guard X or guard Y. And I said, I think that Amari struggles from trying to take somebody off the dribble, and I really wish he would never do that ever again. He needs to the bringing the ball up the floor to press the break doesn't actually bother me. I think that he always finds an outlet quick. It keeps our pace going. But the ISO to the top of the key and then taking it off the dribble is not there. He's a good passer. He's proved that he needs to pass out of that position. When he gets one-on-ones, use them, get putbacks, those kind of things. I wish, but he turned it over quite a bit. I think 6 times in the first half. So there are some things I think you need to work on, and I think that they will do that against Georgia State. And then I think that I'm really, really, really excited to play Clemson. I want to see what this team's got. I want to see how they adjust. I want to see how they do against somebody other than Duke. That Duke game, we just kind of fought and clawed and stayed in it and then did what we had to win. I want us to see us firing on all cylinders against a big-time opponent, and I'd like to see us kind of just run Georgia State off of it. But I think there's a blueprint there to how physical we can be. And my last thing that I'm kind of worried about, and I'll turn it back to you, Christian, is that's the second game that somebody's tried to get physical with us, Duke and WKU. And Jackson Robinson kind of didn't have a step or a move in either one of those games. And I'm not trying to be like hot take-ish of like, oh, Jackson Robinson's not the dude. I think Jackson Robinson can still be the dude. I just think he shies away from physicality. In both of those games, you saw him try to be more of a spot-up shooter opposed to aggressive and to get his shot. Now, I know he is a shooter at heart, one of the best in the country. But like in the game before that, you saw him willing to take somebody off and bounce and get to a spot. You didn't see that against WKU because they were physical, but then you saw Andrew Carr really step up, and he likes that physicality. So I think that like my takeaways are we have to hustle. We have to out hustle somebody when they're being physical with us, because threes aren't going to be there as much. Amari's got to quit learning to take one off the dribble. He's got to play his part in the offense. And I need to see Jackson Robinson in a physical conference tough game do his thing other than just catching a couple spot up threes, because that's not what this team needs from him long term.
For sure. One thing that I liked is we got punched in the mouth and we still fought back. I mean, like you said, they got a little lazy in there a little bit, and they didn't look the best, but resilient teams always come out and they win these games. Like, you see these top 25 teams, they'll play a team like that, they'll kind of overlook them and lose because that smaller school will come in fighting, just trying to punch them in the mouth and come in and just win. And I like the fight toward the end and to get the dub. So starting out 6-0, it's great to be there, So
yeah. And Dylan, you talking about the turnovers? I feel like the beginning of the year we've been great on not turning the ball over.
Yeah, we were awful last night. Amari was a big problem last night, and I really like his game. And there was a couple of times we turned it over when we shouldn't have. I don't think, though, that'll be a problem long term with the veterans we have.
Yeah, no doubt. But so do you guys think with all these losses and to other teams, where do you think that they put us next week?
5.
4?
5. I think they'll do. I think 4th too. I agree with that, because they'll probably put. I wouldn't be shocked if Auburn is number 1.
Who's number 1 right now?
Yeah, they'll end up being number 1. Kansas will be 2. I hate to say it, but the way Tennessee smacked Baylor, and then they'll win their games this week. I mean, so I would say 4 will be probably where we're sitting at.
I hope they don't have Alabama jump us, because the AP poll has a lot of recency bias. I think we'll be at 4, and I think we should be at 4. But man, everybody in the country is playing a lot of tough teams right now, except for Kentucky. Our stretch is getting ready to come. And I know we beat Duke, but the AP poll is a lot of what have you done for me lately, and an undefeated team probably should be ahead. I'm going to guess 4, but it wouldn't shock me if they had Bama jump us. Because I wouldn't love it. I would be like on Twitter making the tweets about it. But especially if they run through this little tournament they're in, it wouldn't shock me. Yeah. But my guess would be number 4. I think Justin's got it right. I think they'll put Auburn at 1. Maybe not, because Kansas did beat Duke without Hunter Dickinson in the second half. But either way, I think 1 and 2 is going to be Auburn, Kansas, and I think it may stay that way for a while. I think those teams are. I hate for Kentucky fans to hear this. I think right now those teams they're a step ahead of everybody else. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that Kansas is firing on cylinders it's not fired on in a while. As far as how deep they are with bringing in some really good people to be behind some of those starters. And I think Auburn may have the best team Bruce Pearl's ever had, and that may come back to bite me. But I think he may have his best team ever. But then I think us in Tennessee should be right behind them. I think Alabama's right there with us, despite the loss at Purdue. But I would assume 4, and I think Justin had the exact order that it will be in.
Okay. Now talk about. I know Auburn. They've got Duke next week. I think they have to go to Duke.
I'm going to be honest. I haven't seen any. I think Johnny Broom's playing at a higher level than he was last year. I haven't seen anybody have it. Now, that big boy they've got, though, number 44, I don't know his name. That center for Duke's going to have to guard him.
That's going to be tough.
And I think that's going to open up Broom to play that 4 position, and really just we'll get to see Flag and Broom, and that's going to be fun. If that, I didn't know that game was happening. That's fun.
Yeah,
man, Bruce Pearl didn't care, did he? He said just put the schedule on.
Well, I think they've got Duke, and I think that obviously we got to go to Clemson. I can't remember. It's the SEC ACC challenge is what it is.
Tell you what, I wish they'd kick North Carolina out of that stinking CBS Classic so we could get a home in that thing at Chapel Hill, and we could quit going to places like NC State, Clemson, and Miami.
Yeah, I agree.
But, I'm trying to think of something else to talk about basketball, because I know Justin loves basketball.
I was trying to see the SEC ACC challenge. I know it's talking about Kentucky, but I was just curious if there was another really big game.
Yeah. And you guys were talking about basketball here. I have a little question for you. What are your thoughts on Jackson Robinson? I'm not trying to be hot takey, but have y'all been worried at the fact that he's kind of shied away in these 2 physical games, and then these smaller games he's kind of taken over?
I mean, that you mentioned that, yeah, a little bit. I didn't watch a lot of him at BYU. I should probably do that. I don't know if he was that same way at BYU. Like if BYU was playing a really big opponent, did he play good? I mean, I know he was
I think he had a little different role out there, though, too.
Well, that's true. That is true.
Yeah. But here's another thing that, for me, guys, that Pope talked about last night. I asked him personally about it. I think Otega Oweh is our best player. I think that Kobe Barea may be the best shooter I've ever laid my eyes on. But I do think Otega Oweh is by far our most consistent player and is going to fill a lot of gaps that we need. I think we were so conditioned with Cal, guys. I think we were so conditioned with John Calipari that you had to have somebody to take you off the dribble. I think in this offense, we don't have to have that to succeed. Everybody, I even heard Matt Jones say about my good buddy Matt Jones today. Me and Matt I love it, man. Me and Matt are super close. I know he's from the same area as a lot of you guys. And we were talking, and I listened to him on the radio on my way to my wife's family Thanksgiving. And he was saying, like, I think we need this. I don't know if we have this guy that can take somebody off the dribble when we need it. And then he said, well, shoot, yeah, we do. We got Otega Oweh. And I do think that Otega is becoming that. And I think that I don't think we need that as much as we think we need that. And Carr showed that in that Duke game, as crazy as that is. So I think that Otega Oweh is going to be a fan favorite. And I know for a fact, I've talked to some people on the staff that they were expecting him to be here 2 years and to kind of be a centerpiece of the team next year. I don't think they need to grow too tight to that idea. It wouldn't shock me if Otega Oweh is a 1-year stop in Lexington.
Gotcha.
He's sure playing like he's going to be a one year stop.
No doubt.
But I know that, and they'll adjust. Like in today's college basketball, we don't have to adjust with freshmen or whatever. You can adjust with a big time transfer. I think some of the ins and outs, but I know for a fact that they were expected to have Garrison, Otega Oweh, Colin Chandler, Perry, and Noah back, and then get 4 freshmen. That's what they're going to take is 4 freshmen, and then they're going to want. And they want to get 4 transfers, and that'd be the 13-man roster next year. But I don't think they need to get too fond of the idea of Otega Oweh being back. I wouldn't be shocked if this is his only year in Lexington. I think he's going to be this team's best player.
I agree.
I agree with all those. I agree with that 100% on those takes. And I do agree with Jackson Robinson in those physical games kind of shine back. But just like you mentioned, these other guys are stepping up. Not saying they overshadow Jackson, but where this team is so deep and other guys on this team kind of like just cling to that adversity and things and that intensity. It kind of shows where Oweh, Carr, and some of these other guys are your go-to people offensively in those types of games. I think with Carr, with Duke, I think where he played for Wake Forest, I think mentally he was prepared to take on Duke more so than a lot of the other players were, just because of his history with Duke. But he is such an intricate part of this team on stretching the floor offensively, being able to rebound, offense, spread the floor, all that stuff. I think in close-knit games, I think what we're going to see a lot more of is Carr being the 5, and then Amari Williams coming in more for defense and rebounding than being on the offense at those, because he is such a liability. I think Garrison and Williams on the end of games on free throw shooting, and then what you was talking about there, dealing about top of the key, kind of trying to drive the basket. Garrison and Amari cannot successfully create their own shots, from the top of the key, and you see a lot of turnovers or a lot of missed opportunities and shots that way. So I think you're going to see that too in more closer games. But Carr, Oweh, some of these other guys, I think they just kind of live for those intense, moments. And so yeah, Jackson may shy away, but other guys are stepping up so much that you can kind of just be like, okay, it's all right. We'll just feed into who's ready for the moment in those types of games.
Yeah, and we're 23 minutes into this show, and we've not talked about a guy either. I mean, that's how deep this team is. We've not talked about a guy either that the season ended today, which we're far, far, far away. That would hold the record for best 3-point percentage in the history of the NCAA for a season. I mean, the guy went 3 for 7 last night, and his percentage went down drastically. I mean, that is 67% from behind the arc, guys, and he's not shot 10. He shot 35 of them. And Kobe Barea is hitting shots at a high clip right now. And that's what you really, really like to see. Mm-hmm. And I think that lineup last night of Kerr Carissa, Otega Oweh, Jackson Robinson, Kobe Barea, and Andrew Carr, they can't play that lineup all the time. One, because the pace is so fast. I don't know if anybody could stay conditioned for that. Yeah. But number 2, it is a liability defensively. But Pope said when we see that a player's out or a guy's in foul trouble and we have the opportunity to play that lineup, nobody can score with that lineup in the country. I mean, nobody can keep up with that lineup in the country, and they're going to score at a high volume. So I think you're going to start to see, like you said, with Carr at the 5, I think that lineup, you're going to see it in spurts for 2 or 3 minutes. Like, hey, we're going to wait for the opportunity, and then we're going to hit you with this lineup and just go score 15 on you unanswered real quick. And then we know that it'll hurt us defensively and rebounding. So then we'll have to switch back. But I think when they see opportunities like that big man got in foul trouble, they said, we're going to take this opportunity and go score 15 in a row or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. So I think you're going to see a little more of that.
Yeah.
And one thing to add about Kobe Barea, one thing that I've noticed about him is his rebounding skills are impressive for a guy his size.
Got a knack for the ball.
No doubt. Like, he's always down there. He's getting boards. And he's like, 6'5", 6'6", I believe. So, I mean, he's getting them boards, and it's impressive. But, I mean, the way he shoots, I've saw people cropping pictures, putting Steph Curry's face on him. And, bro, honestly, he's probably one of the best shooters I've saw in years at Kentucky, maybe ever.
Well, the guy that holds the record for best 3-point percentage played here last year. So if that's the case, you may be watching the best shooter ever.
I mean, it's just like the way he shoots is just like so pure, and it's just amazing. So, but one thing I thought about Andrew Carr, he reminds me a lot of Kevin Love. The way he like plays, he's not the fastest dude ever, but he can set picks, he gets boards, and he can shoot. Yeah. You guys see that?
I could see that.
I'm a big time Kevin Love guy, so I like seeing that style of play from the big guys.
Like going to the Otega Owave, like I love the way he plays basketball. Like the guy can shoot the ball. Like if you leave him open in that 3-point line, he's gonna hit it. But I mean, he's gonna drive it, and he's not afraid to take contact. He's not afraid to go up. I mean, and I love that kind of play style. Like not afraid to go to the rim. Doesn't matter how hard you get. Doesn't matter how hard you're going to come down. If the ball goes in or gets close, that's all he's worried about. So that and like rebounding, like Christian was saying, he's a dog.
A dog.
All around. I like what Dylan said. Like I don't want the team or that staff to get comfortable with him maybe coming back next year, because the way he's playing, I don't see him coming back next year.
I was looking there at your agenda before we transition off the basketball team. Guys, is it for the first time? Is it for you? Like, and I know we all are Christians and we've got church to look forward to, so don't think I'm the worst person ever. But do you like count down the days till the next game, no matter who they're playing? Because that's what I'm doing right now.
No
and
doubt.
I like, and I know I'm blessed with the opportunity. Somebody joining you there, mean being Cody. Door was opening behind you.
Smart Pope.
Mark Pope coming in to join the show today. But for me, it's like this is such an exciting brand of basketball. It's something so new. It's something I'm not going to be worried about, knock on wood, of a loss against one of these small teams. It's just so exciting and fun to watch. And it's appealing to the aesthetic. You know, it's appealing to the eye. I love it. I love just everything about it right now. And I love that I'm excited. I cannot wait for Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And two, I sense, guys, I'm not big time by no means. I'm blessed with the opportunity to take pictures at UK. I'm blessed. I have a small Twitter following compared to a lot of these guys, but I have a lot of people that I contact with, and I have a lot of people that I know through pastoring. But every game, I have people text me, "Hey, I'm at the game for the first time in years. I'm at the game for the first time in years. Hey, can you grab a picture of me? Hey, can I was in Walmart the other night, and I was walking through and somebody I didn't even know stopped me and was like, "Oh my gosh, what about Mark Pope and the Cats?" Like I had my headphones in, and I took my headphone out, and they just wanted to talk about Kentucky. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's an excitement around this right now that's not been around it in years, and that's really, really, really fun.
Yeah. And Alan said this team just feels different. I agree. I mean, there's so much swag to it too. And
Justin, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
Yeah, Dad. Sometimes I have to think about that now. I'm 36.
Okay, so the reason I ask is you're not really old enough to remember the beginning of the Pitino era.
Not much. I was still I was still not too young to really. I mean, that's kind of like it was a great time, but as far as like my age, it's kind of too young.
But my dad was talking about this at the beginning of the Pitino era. You know, those first years were not the best, but that 92 team, when they finally did get it rolling, was so special to everybody. And then, guys, you would probably all agree, I love 2012 and I love 2015, but my favorite Cal team was 2010. And it was 2010 for me because we were cool again. You know what I mean? And we were it. We were the show. And for me, that was the funnest time again. And my dad said the same thing with 04, even though that wasn't, 98 still felt kind of like, even though Tubby's won the title, that was Rick's team. You know what I'm saying? And Dad said in 04, you knew it was Tubby's team and they were good. You know what I mean? And it felt different, even though they got upset in the tournament. I think you can go through the years and there's special teams that have a special place in Kentucky fans' heart, no matter how it finished. And I think this is going to be one of those teams. Now, do I think they're going to go out in the Elite Eight like some of those teams did, or did some of those? No, I'm not saying that. But I do think this team is going to have a special place in everybody's heart because of the way they play, the way they hustle, the way they're kind of 10 guys that just kind of got through together, and the two Kentucky boys. And
And I think that this team is going to have. It does feel different. I love that comment from the commenter there, but I do think that this team feels different, and it will feel different for a while. I think no matter how it ends, we'll think fondly of this team because of how special it was or it is right now. I think it'll go right up in there. It may go up in there with the 2012 team or the 98, 96. I don't think so personally. Don't get me wrong. I think that they have a team that could go to the Final Four. I don't know if they have a team that can win it yet. I'll need to see more. But I do think that they'll end up with those teams like that 04 team, like that 92 team, like that 2010 team, where it was just special and there was a special connection with the fans, and you could feel it when you go to Walmart. You could feel it when you go to McDonald's and everybody, they've got all the employees wearing UK gear. I think we're back into that, and it feels really good.
Well, I think Cal lost a lot of the fan base too. Like within his last 5-6 years, maybe, like a lot of fans were just kind of like, we're out, it's nothing. It's always just new players every year, and they're gone to the NBA. And Popes came in with this attitude. It's the name on the front, not the back kind of approach. And I think that's won a lot of the people back. That's
Coach Pope gets it. I think the only, looking back at last year, the only reason I feel like Kentucky fans were as connected last year as they was because of Reed Sheppard.
Yep.
I mean,
there was a connection to Reed and honestly to Rob as well. It was way bigger for Reed, but for the in-state people. But I think nationally you had that because of Rob. I think he was a national star. So Reed and Rob were the things that for that last year for sure.
Yeah, that was a big difference for last year.
And it showed his disconnection, right, Justin? That he didn't start either one of them. And all the kids were on TikTok watching Rob. He was getting 2 and 3 million views on every TikTok video. And then Reed had every single kid in the state wearing his jersey, representing the 13th region, and Cal didn't start either one of them.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? What is your opinion on that? Do you have any insight on that, or you might not be able to share that? I have an opinion of why that is the case, and not to dig up old dirt, but I'm just saying, my
relationship didn't end as great as I would have loved it to with the last regime. Just kind of to say that, so I won't bring up too many old bones because we didn't end on the greatest of terms. Not that we didn't like each other. They knew where I stood, and I knew where they stood. And I'll say this: I think John Calipari always was faithful to the promises and expectations he set for guys, and that's to a fault, and then that's also to a pro as well. We had dudes turn it around, like that tournament run that went to the Elite Eight, or I guess it was the Sweet 16 with Shea and them. He stuck with Diallo when he maybe shouldn't have, and it panned out for him. He stuck with a couple of other dudes along the way. He stuck with Nick Richards when he probably shouldn't have. So I'm not saying that's a total fault, but I think B.J. Wagner and Justin Edwards, he was waiting for that to click, and it never did. And, it did click with Justin Edwards for 2 games. But
hey, we beat Tennessee.
Yeah. So, but do you get what I'm saying? I think that there were promises made, and he was sticking to those. Guys, hey, I'm going to stay on with you, but I'm going to mute my camera and mic for a second, then I'll join right back in the conversation.
All right,
you're good.
You're good.
Yeah.
But
that was my take from the very beginning was the loyalty to people before they came. So that was kind of like my thoughts on that, because that's the only thing that would make sense to me as to why we did that. But again, not to dig up old bones, so to speak, but it is just just had to ask. I was just curious, just to see if it's kind of lined up with my take on that too. So.
All right, could you imagine if Reed would have stayed and played on this team?
Yeah.
I'm not even saying because it would have made this team better or anything, but the fan base.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, you could have Jeff Sheppard on every. You'd have his parents just everywhere, and it would
Jeff and Stacy.
Yeah, Stacy.
But I feel like
his game would have flew into this offense though too. Reed's game would have just excelled so much.
He would have been a top 3 pick at least.
Yeah, where Cal's offense was so focused on dribble drive, one-on-one type stuff. It just became so stagnant with the fan base too, as well as just not being really successful in the college game. It's not going to succeed for him in Arkansas either. That's just my take, my opinion of that. I don't think that it will there either. But we've heard so many excuses where these guys are young. This is a whole new team together, and we look at Kansas and we look at Auburn. They've got veterans on those teams, and you've got guys that's played last year before that that's played there, right? This is a whole new team, but look how well we've played the first 6 games with a whole new roster. But we've got a veteran squad, and you have to have a veteran squad in order to be successful come March. And so, so with that being said, I think that's amazing. Pope, again, from the very beginning, I've said, I love Pope's style of offense and stuff too as well.
I agree with that.
What's that?
Bibb said Big Z would, I think, have a big success in Pope's offense. I agree with that.
Oh, he would have. Absolutely, he would have. But something else too. I seen something. There's a friend of mine on social media that I seen where he was at the game there the other night, and Pope stayed till like 10, 11 o'clock or so after the game, signing autographs. And he had a basketball signed, and him and his wife and kids met him, and he like signed his name and signed Joshua 1-8, signs and all that stuff. But Pope really gets this fan base. Like he
100%.
really gets it so much. He knows how much Kentucky basketball means. So his heart and soul's in it. Even home games. I mean, he's in suit and tie. He's just like, I just have such a love and respect for this dude, man. And I don't know. I'm just excited that Kentucky basketball is back for sure.
That kind of like, I like the I feel like him and Dan Hurley have this sort of similar coaching styles, or like X and O guys, if that makes any sense. Obviously
their attitude and expression on the court,
I was about to say that is completely different. One of them is going to turn blood red after you get in a bad foul call at the end of the game, and one probably wouldn't do that as much. He'd probably just be kind of disappointed. He would give you that. He would be the one that would sit like on the scoreboard, just like disappointed. Like,
I'm sure he does at some point, but I don't even know if Coach Pope, if I've even seen him yell on TV with the camera on him. I mean,
I've seen him smile more than him get mad.
just complete self-control.
Like I really want to know what Kobe Bryant said to him after he hit that 3 and was trash talking him. I want to know what he said. I don't know what he said. I don't know if anybody knows what he said. I would love to know what he said.
We might find that out at a later time.
Good, possibly.
But this is a very big week for Kentucky fans and football fans. It's rivalry week. And you got to put them down. Come on,
let's go, Justin. Let's see it. Let's see it, Justin. Come on, do that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. L's down forever.
Forever.
Forever. Kentucky plays Louisville. What are you laughing at?
I was going to say something there, but
okay, yeah, I'm not going to
say it. I was going to say a meme, but I'm not going to say it.
Save that for after.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kentucky faces off Louisville this Saturday.
Faces off? Or
yeah.
Did that not sound right in my head? Doesn't that sound right?
Kentucky faces off against
Louisville? That doesn't sound like that. That just doesn't like.
That sounds right to me. You're right, Christian. You're good.
Okay, you go ahead.
The sometimes
faces off.
Sometimes
you said you said like Kentucky faces off Louisville. That's just in my head. No, you said off.
Faces off against.
No, you never said against. You just said faces off Louisville. 100%.
It's fine. We'll rewind.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
We'll fact check it later.
Oh, well, okay. Everybody knows what I meant, Cody, except you big hater. Drinking that hater.
Okay. I'm sorry, but also no excuse racing on TikTok said Go Big Blue Cat fans stuck around a bunch of Tennessee fans. That's the way we are.
Oh, were you on TikTok?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Sweet.
Yeah. Awesome. We all 3 of us currently are in that same situation. So Go Big Blue though. Go Big Blue for sure.
Go Big Blue.
Yeah.
But I think honestly, I've thought about this, and I don't know if you guys agree or not. I think with a win against Louisville this Saturday, I think it makes it a little bit easier for Kentucky fans to swallow that that Mark Stoops is going to be the head coach next year.
Yeah.
I know. Me and Cody's kind of out on Stoops. I don't know your stance on him, Justin.
I'm right now. I've kind of went to the thing that like I give him one more shot. He's got a good recruiting class coming in. Hopefully, he gets a very good transfer portal class, and including a very good offense. Honestly, if he just goes out to get offensive linemen, I mean, he's going to have to get some defensive key pieces because you lose a lot of that defense. I think you got to go get offensive line, though. I feel like that is just the offense. And I mean, they've had their moments throughout games, but that offensive line's got to be rebuilt, and you lose a lot of them as well. So you're going to have to go get offensive linemen. Now, you got some of those young guys. I know Malachi Wood, he's played his butt off.
Yeah.
And has played very well. So I think you've got your right tackle. But, yeah, there's going to have to be some changes. I don't like the comments of keeping the offensive coordinator. I think that is a huge issue. I just think that his play calling, his play style of football is not going to work in the SEC.
We need a guy that gets back to the running game.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. And next year is the time to do it. You've got such a good running back class. You've got Marquise Davis coming in. You've got
Mario. Probably gonna have to replace Key and Barry on 2. I agree. I think they'll both.
Unfortunately,
in the draft. But he also says hopefully retains Macklin. So.
You could get Macklin back. Then I think Will Ferrier. I think he'll stay. You'll keep him. I'm trying to think of. Did I say that right? Will Ferrier? Who am I thinking of?
Oh,
I'm back, boys. You talking about Fred Ferrier?
Yeah.
Fred Ferrier. Sorry, I don't know who I'm thinking of.
Thinking about Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell. There you go. Yeah, I just watched Elf. Sorry, but yeah, Fred Ferrier. I think you'll keep him. Anthony Brown Stevens. I don't know really about him. I feel like he could stay.
Sophomore.
I think he's a junior.
Is he a junior?
Dylan, am I right on that? Is he a junior?
Who was it again? I didn't hear you.
Anthony Brown Stevens.
Anthony Brown Stevens does have eligibility left. We'll see if he stays or not.
I was thinking if he doesn't stay, I think that him not getting as much playing time as I think he thought he should have gotten. I think he may enter the transfer portal.
But I will say his family loves it here, and they're very close friends.
Okay. So it's very possible he will stay. Okay.
Anthony Brown Stevens is the reason that John Legend came and did the concert for the 15 Club.
Oh yeah, they're family. That's all right.
Yeah, that's his uncle, and it's like his actual uncle, like his mom's brother.
That's pretty cool, actually. But this guy on TikTok,
I was blessed to be able to go that night. That was a crazy night.
Now that was who did that? 15 Club.
Yeah, the 15 Club.
Yeah,
we love the
15 Club.
Yeah, it was the top 500 donors got to come.
Gotcha.
I'm not one of the top 500 donors. They wanted somebody to come take pictures.
Now, Dylan, do you only do football and men's basketball? Is that the only two you do? Photography?
I do a few baseball games a year, and I do a few women's basketball games a year. And if the volleyball team hosts an NCAA tournament game, I'll probably go. But outside of that, I'm not going to be probably going to anything else.
Now, I do know that you talk about hosting NCAA basketball games. I know that Lexington is hosting a couple first-round games this year. Now, is it possible Kentucky gets stuck in that? I don't know if that's even possible.
We're not legally allowed to, no.
Legally, okay. Well, see, I know Gonzaga, I think they've got them in Seattle right now. That's basically home for them.
Yeah, but it's at the Supersonics old stadium. It's not at Gonzaga's arena.
Gotcha. I got you.
Yeah. So that's where we'll be playing. We're not playing at the Kennel, right? It's at somewhere else this year. It's in Seattle, right? It's not even in Spokane, right? It's in Seattle.
It's in Seattle, yeah.
Yeah. So but that's Gonzaga. But we won't be in Lexington now.
Yeah, that would be a little unfair. If you got stuck in Lexington, you play like Illinois or something. It's just blue. There's no Illinois fans. They didn't allow them to come.
While I had to step away for a second, did you guys talk about football?
Yeah, we
a little bit. Yeah,
we transitioned into the Louisville game this week. I mentioned that with a win this Saturday, I think that the fan base will kind of ease up a little bit, maybe against Mark Stoops.
I think it doesn't matter either. I think this matters. I think this game's a big nothing burger. I think Louisville's awful. I think if we get blown out, it could get real ugly around here. But ultimately, guys, no matter what anybody tells you, this decision is 100% Mark Stoops' decision.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%.
We could get beat 75-0, and they're not going to get rid of Mark Stoops. They can't afford it. And when I say they can't afford it, guys, like they just don't have the money. They don't. People can say, well, they need to come up with it. Okay, where?
Exactly.
Like, where? And he knows the spot that they're in. If he wants to stay, he'll be here. I've been told that if it gets bad enough that they maybe in the future would talk about a negotiation down. But he has no obligation other than wanting to save his legacy to have to do that either.
Yeah.
3 months ago, I would have said, I think this is Mark Stoops' last season in Lexington. I actually think all the losing has tried to get him. He doesn't want to go out on a bad note, but we've never seen in the history. Guys, have you ever seen somebody in college football go on a steady decline year after year after year? And I love Mark Stoops. He's my favorite personality of a coach that we've been here. And since I've been doing media, Mark Stoops is by far the nicest to me. Outside of Brad White, Mark Stoops is by far the person I know the best. And I love Mark Stoops, and I'm super thankful for what he's been here. But I don't know if I've ever seen anybody go on a steady decline for 3 years and then shoot back up for one season to save their legacy.
That's what I've been telling these guys. I'm like, people are saying like, well, he's allowed a down year. No, you don't get worse as a football coach. That's just not how that works.
And I do think allowed a down year. I personally do agree with that. I think we've been on a slow decline for 3 years. And if Mark Stoops, here's my thing. If Mark Stoops wants that other last shot, he has earned that.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if it's going to get any better. From what I've been talking they're going to go young next year, and I just don't know if that's a path as for your redemption season.
Yeah.
If they would have been good this year, and then they could have been down next year, but everybody knowing that it's a build for the future, I would have been okay with it. But they're going to build around Hardly Gilmore, Cutter Boley, Jamarian Wilcox, and Willie Rodriguez.
Yeah.
I'm trying to word this right, but let fans get what I'm saying. One of those dudes, I don't know if he'll be back. They want to build around those 4. They want him back, but he's got to fix some stuff. He's got to fix the minor details. And I know he doesn't see that as that much, and that's all I'm going to say on that. One of those 4 dudes, they want him back. He wants to be back, but there needs to be a mutual agreement on fixing a few things. And I think he's maybe the most important piece in my mind, and I'm not talking about Cutter Boley, so you can start doing some math. And it's nothing major. He's got to iron out some minor details, but he is very, very talented. And I think that they're going to want to build around. I think they're going to want to build around that core. I think they're learning that you need to pay the skill guys, but you can't forsake the O-line. I'm big time worried about the offensive line. Jagger Burton has been an extreme disappointment since he got here. I know some of you guys may know football better than me. I know you really got to know football to watch O-linemen, right?
Yep.
But I was told for sure they're going to be going for the 3 most positions on the O-line. They're going to be going for sure. They're going to be going for both tackles and a center.
Thank God.
Well, see, like if we're talking about tackles, I think Malachi Wood could be a really good right tackle for us going into the future. Like I think he's kind of held his ground for for how young he is at that. In my opinion, people may disagree with me, but I think Dylan's disagreeing with me.
I don't say mean things about people, so I'll just be quiet.
Okay.
But I think that I like Malachi. He's a great guy, and he's from my hometown. He got played too early.
I do agree with that, though. Yeah.
Injuries between Mincy and Ford. He was played way too early. And that's not his fault. I think Malachi has a bright future. I don't think Malachi can start next year. I don't think Malachi is ready. I know there was the famous game of him going 0.0 in pass protection. But I don't think that's his fault. I think he got played way too early.
Yeah.
I think Farmer is the only one that I think will be back, honestly, on the O-line.
Mhm.
I was told Ray may be back. I was told Burton may be back. That they may be a battle for that position. I'm okay with that, I guess, because you have to go get so much on the O-line.
Mhm.
But we've yet to see Warford really, really, really put one together. And, guys, here's a scary thing. Name me the last O-line that was built out of the portal anywhere in the country that was good. Good O-linemen stay where they're at because people are willing to pay to keep good O-linemen.
Exactly.
And if they're real, real good and they're in the portal because they like popped off somewhere like Yale or somewhere like that, school's a little bit bigger in Kentucky. Go get them. So
Yeah.
I'm worried about going to the O-line, going to the portal to build the whole O-line.
Yeah, I get that. I get that for sure. It's you need. I think we need to have like an extra tight end out there because there's a lot of times we're going like out. We don't have like an extra tight end like there to chip or like DSK. He's pretty good at chipping, like coming off the edge. But it's like Cox and Mincy, like when they're out there, and then Ford when he was out there for a little bit. It's like they're getting beat so quick and it's collapsing the pocket, and then Brock's having to run for his life. But moving forward with Cutter Boley, I think that's like a new juice. It's because I think there's just like where you saw so much bad with Brock, and that's not even a slight at Brock. It's just nothing's went right for Kentucky offensively this year, except for like Will Cox coming out, and he was running like crazy past few weeks, and then Boley comes in. It looks like they had like an extra juice, and it's like the motivation with Brock early on like faded out really quick. So it's like the juice wasn't there for those few games early on in the schedule, and now we got Boley out there, and the offense kind of looked a little smoother, like in that second half versus Texas. I mean, we didn't really put up much points against Texas, but it looked better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Brock Cutter's definitely a big upgrade, and I think it'll give fans optimism if we go out and beat Louisville with Cutter. I just don't have a ton of high hopes for next year personally. Schedule's tough. O-line is going to be built out of the portal. Some of these guys we've got knowing that the front seven is going to be 100% rebuilt outside of Rayner probably on defense. Our secondary's coming back, but they outside of Max is going to the league. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that or not, but I mean, shoot, the fact that they're putting him through senior day as a junior probably can tell you that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't really love a lot of the experience we're getting back in the secondary. I think that there's some guys that at times have struggled that are coming back. To me, and you don't know until you get done with the portal, but this don't look like a good setup for a last hoorah for the future.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the offensive struggles that we've had the past few years, I think we made the mistake in 2023 bringing back Liam Cohen. Like, I know a lot of people liked him, but I think when we brought him back and then for him just to leave again the very next year, making it if we get rid of Bush this offseason, next year we'll make our fifth offensive scheme.
Bush is coming back.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not coaches speak. If Mark Stoops is here, Bush Hamden's here. And if Mark Stoops is not here, Bush Hamden will not be here. That's the two options. And I actually like that decision. I think eventually you can't keep blaming on OCs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, hypothetically, if that was the move, if Bush was gone, next year that would have made our fifth offensive different play caller in 5 years.
Yeah.
And you can't, like, expect to grow an offense like that every year, having your guys. Like, Barryon's been here. This is his junior year. It's his third offense he's had to learn. That can't be good for player development at all.
I'll tell you what I am worried about is maybe Seven being in a different jersey next year and looking real good.
I'm very worried about him leaving and not going to the NFL. Do I think he can go to the NFL? Yeah. Do I think it's time for him to go to the NFL? No. I don't think he had a good enough year this year to go to the NFL, in my opinion. I feel like he's not been looked at as much. Go ahead, Christian.
Do you think Dane goes to the league?
Yeah, he is. He's gone.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Don't know who you root for in the NFL, but Dane would look really good in the orange and brown.
I was going to say he looked really good in the silver helmet and a black jersey.
Buddy, he wants to go
baby blue.
He wants.
Do what?
Do Do you like the NFL? Who are you a fan of?
I'm not really
He's
a big
Saints
NFL
fan.
dude.
I feel like people.
I guess if I had to pull for anybody, I'll just pull for Cincinnati just because it's close to home.
Oh gosh, no!
Just because
I root for them.
I mean, if I had to, but I'm not a big NFL dude.
I'm not an NFL guy.
At this point, I just want the Chiefs to lose. Is that okay? Is that fair?
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay,
I feel like most people, like, especially if you don't keep up with NFL, like in the Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and Peyton Manning era, that little era, I think everybody was rooting for Drew Brees.
Now it's
I feel like
Josh Allen,
Yeah.
Burrow, and Patty Mahomes. That's
But if talking about NFL, I'll just go ahead and say that I think the Detroit Lions and the Buffalo Bills will be in the Super Bowl. But that's just my opinion.
Until somebody, people can hate them all they want. Until somebody stops Patrick Mahomes, I ain't picking nobody but Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, that's true.
See,
Bryce Young about did it last week.
Or 9-1, 10-1, whatever he is, and he ain't even flipped that switch yet.
That's true.
I think if depending on how the defense looks for the Detroit Lions, I think that they could possibly win the NFC. And their scheme, and they would have everybody behind them. Like, the motivation for Detroit to get one against the Chiefs would be at an all-time high. Like, Dan Campbell would have that team, like, going through walls.
You're true. But I'll pick against Patrick Mahomes when Patrick Mahomes loses.
I get that. I do get that 100%.
Hey, but,
that's like Tom Brady.
The one time Patrick Mahomes played a really good front four and a really good defense in the Super Bowl. Like,
was last Sunday.
Super Bowl.
Carolina. Oh, Super Bowl. Sorry.
He didn't win that one.
Yeah, but his whole O-line had COVID, and they made the whole run.
That whole line that whole year was terrible for the Chiefs. They weren't that good.
Yeah, I mean, they were terrible and missing 4 starters.
That's true. But I mean, I've got this thing in my head. Here's how it's gonna go. The Chiefs are gonna score late. They're gonna go up by 3, and then Jared Goff's gonna lead them boys down the field. Amon-Ra St. Brown's gonna catch a game-winning touchdown, and the place is gonna go nuts.
Now, where is the Super Bowl this year?
New Orleans, I think.
New Orleans. I could see Dan Campbell going down that one street in Louisiana with one of those hats on, celebrating. I could see it.
Yeah.
After the win,
eating the jumbo out of the helmet, just going nuts. Going back to Kentucky football, guys, let's get a quick score prediction.
Oh, okay.
And an MVP. We'll go MVP too.
Now we are talking about the football game, right?
Yes.
Football.
Okay. Louisville.
Okay.
Give me the Cats.
Okay.
Give me the Cats. I want to stay consistent with my pick for the Herald Leader. Give me the Cats 24-20, and my MVP is going to be Dane Key.
I like it. Cody?
I'm going to say 17-14 game-winning field goal. And
You seriously took my score. I was going to say the same thing. No joke.
I'm going to say your MVP is going to be I'm going to say give me oh man, it's tough. I'm going to say give me this is really hard. Give me Jamarion Wilcox. I think he's going to no, not Wilcox. I'll go Boley. I think he's going to have 2 very impressive touchdowns. Give me Boley.
Okay.
I'll go 21-17 Kentucky, just to be different, because Cody read my mind, and I'll go Boley MVP.
I'm gonna go 2010 Mad Max MVP.
See, I wanted to say somebody on the defense because I could see a pick 6 maybe, but I don't see Max doing it. Possibly, I could see.
It's gonna be a tip drill.
I could see Jackson do it. Derrick Jackson.
Crib talk.
I don't think Jackson's playing.
Oh, is he not playing?
Yeah, I think they said he's gonna be out.
Man, well that stinks. Okay,
I hope Jackson's actually hurt. I hope we see everybody play with the bowl not being eligible and it being Louisville. I hope that happens.
Yeah.
Dude, I know it's not been a good year for this guy, but Dumas Johnson, he's been fun to watch.
Yeah,
he's been one of my favorite linebackers in a minute. Probably said square.
I like him a lot. I hate his season in Kentucky was not good.
Yeah, I know.
For sure. But Boys, as we begin to wrap up this episode, we always close out with the good old Bible verses. I can get mine out. Justin, you want to start us off?
I'll quote Isaiah 54:17. No weapon formed against you shall be able to prosper. Every time that rises up against you, you shall condemn in judgment. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. For us, it's about understanding that no matter what's fighting you, if you are a child of God, it says it's a heritage, meaning it's an inheritant thing. It's an inheritance. When you are a child of God, you've got a blessing and an inheritance and authority to understand that nothing that forms against you will prosper. And when things negativity, lies, those things are spoke against you, the word says that you have authority to condemn those things. So I just want to encourage you that if you feel like a lot of lies of other people and of the enemy are kind of surrounding you, and you're fighting so many different obstacles on different fronts, just know that when you're a child of God, you can overcome those things, and you have the authority to speak against those things and condemn them from a spiritual perspective, saying, you know what, these things are lies. I'm going to walk in the truth of his word. I want to lean on him. And so I just want to encourage you guys to use the authority, to release that authority through the words that you speak, shape the atmosphere that you're in by speaking life, by speaking encouragement, by speaking positive things, faith-filled things, knowing who you are in Christ and who he is in your life.
It was awesome, Justin.
Love it. I like that.
Love it.
So, you want me to go, Cody, or you got it?
I could go if you want me to. I got mine.
It's up to you.
First Chronicles 16:34 says, "I'll give thanks to the Lord, for He is good, for His steadfast love endures forever." I just wanted to do something like that for Thanksgiving for tomorrow. It's always, the Lord, like the love that He gives us, and I actually have had someone that was talking to me. He's like, "Well, how's the Lord love us? Like, what in the world has He done for me?" And he's had a bad background or a bad past, if that makes sense. And I'm like, dude, like, like this, it's like, I've said this before, like small things, and this really catches my attention. You wake up in the morning, that's like blessings, little small blessings that you have in your life, like waking up in the morning, having food to eat, having money to go get, or having money to go get food, having money in general to get the essentials that you need to live. You sleep in a bed at night, you're warm, you're comfortable. Having family and friends that surround you and that are loving on you, and having those people that you can go to for support is a huge thing. But and Jesus just in general is love. And just different examples. There's so many different examples that shows God's love for us. But it's always good to thank Him for those things, because a lot of people, they don't have all those family members that a lot of us have. They don't have those friends. They don't have different opportunities like that. So, I feel like, always giving thanks to the Lord is a huge thing.
That's good, Cody. You're good. So I got Philippians 4:4. Always be full of joy in the Lord. I say it again, rejoice. I like that verse. Kind of ties in with Thanksgiving as well. Kind of went off that. But yeah, just always be full of joy in the Lord because of all the blessings He surrounds you with. Even in those times that it doesn't seem like there's much joy going on, keep that joy, because there is going to be joy in the morning. So that's all I got.
I'm going to do Philippians 4:13, which is easy, and I'm not trying to just give you I have a reason why I'm giving you this, but I'm not just giving you an easy one. I promise I know more than that Bible verse, but the reason I was going to do Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, is because, give a cool story, Kobe Bryant has been writing that on his wrist tape. He has to have his wrist taped before every single game, and he's been writing that verse on his wrist for every single game, because he said it kind of takes him back to the spiritual place for him and knows where his strength comes out there on the floor. So I know that's a simple verse, but I thought it'd be cool to share you guys. If you ever reading that verse, that Kobe Bryant is wearing that on his wrist, and it's not just like a little band. Awesome. He writes it on every single game before the game on his wrist.
That's awesome.
Now is that his shooting hand he has that on, or is that both?
He generally has it on both.
Both, okay.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I didn't know he did that. That's awesome.
Yeah. I feel like Pope is. I feel like he tries to push. I mean, not push, obviously, but he encourages like all that stuff. If that makes any sense, I don't know.
Faith.
Exactly. There you go. Sorry, that was a good word. That's a word to use. Sorry.
Thank you guys for having me on tonight.
Yeah,
Oh, dude,
we appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on with us. Hey, plug all your stuff before we go.
If you guys don't mind, I have a new podcast out that is called Success Stories Unplugged. I go behind the scenes with successful people. We did one with Matt Jones. We did one with Nick Mangione. We actually have a player that is going to hop on. We talk about faith. We talk about rising to the top, but we're also I'm a businessman as well and a pastor. So we're getting ready to do some pastors. We're getting ready to do some business people as well. And we're going to, so follow that. Follow me on Twitter, Dylan Ballard _UK. It's the same on TikTok, Dylan Ballard _UK. Follow me on Facebook. And guys, I appreciate it. And you can find all of my work at A Sea of Blue. You can find those on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all the things there. And if you guys are ever need to follow somebody on Facebook to see pictures, I take about 80 to 100. I edit about 80 to 100 pictures every game from the court and post them there on my Facebook.
It's awesome.
Love it.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you guys for tuning in tonight.
Yep.
And as always, go Cats.
Go Cats.